So I have this situation with my daughter that last week we were coming to pick her up from school, and she was like taking our dog, and there was a car coming, and an accident happened because the car stepped over a foot of the dog because she wasn't paying attention. So it really triggered me because I told her, like, I don't know, like 20 seconds before it happened or 30 seconds before it happened to watch it and like to be careful, and she didn't do it. I feel like so. So it's like I'm really frustrated with her because she's not like listening to my directions, or yeah, she's just not paying attention. I guess that'll be a good one to land on.
Okay. Yeah.
She should pay attention.
Yeah, we can work on that. She should pay attention, right? Okay, so is that true? She should pay attention.
Yes.
And can you absolutely know it's true? She should pay attention in that situation with the dog and the car and you.
Yes.
So, how do you react? What happens when you think she should pay attention and she obviously did not?
I feel frustrated. Can't even, I'm sweating right now. Like I see like my body temperature goes up while I think about it. I feel disappointed. I blame her in my mind for letting that happen and not being careful enough. I can't see how I start connecting that specific moment to like other things where she didn't pay enough attention and she didn't do what I thought she should be doing. So I start looking for kind of like validation to all those thoughts and like start connecting them. I feel angry. I feel frustrated. I feel lost in a way because I don't know what else to do. I don't know how to talk to her to make her understand. Yeah, I feel disappointed. And I think I just beat myself up because it's like I can't seem to be able to figure out how to make her listen and how to make her pay attention. So it's like turn it around to myself a little bit and just like blaming myself like if I made it happen in a way. And I feel stuck in a loop. It's like I have no way out of it. It's I just have to deal with it, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
I want the reality to be different in that case.
Mm. And how are you treating her? In addition to beating yourself up, how do you treat her when you think she should pay attention and she didn't?
I put myself as like mentally I kind of put a block, like a wall between me and her. Like I try to distance myself emotionally from her to kind of like put some distance in between us. And I try to escape reality in a way. I just feel like my mind just goes away and it's like, oh, I don't want to deal with it, and I'll just shut off or something like that, or shut down in a way. And I just try to put all my attention on the dog because obviously that's what it needs to go at that moment, but more so because I don't want to like deal with her in that moment. And I judge her in my mind for what she did and not paying attention and not being careful enough. Yeah, and in that moment I feel like I can't trust her. So I just feel like I kind of give up, and I just like, it's almost like I don't want to try anymore, and it's like, oh, it's been enough. So I
Hmm.
just let it be what it is and just deal with the dog and keep going, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. So, who would you be without the thought that she should pay attention? Now, the situation is you asked her to pay attention, she didn't, and then the dog got hurt. So, who would you be after that happened without this clinging to this belief that she should have paid attention?
Hmm. I would see it as an accident, actually, which is exactly what it was. Hmm. It's interesting because the way I was looking at it with the thought, it's like, even though she didn't do it that way, it's almost in my mind like if she pushed the dog
Hmm.
and made that happen. When in reality, that's not the case. So without the thought, I can see it just as an accident. It's like a very small road where only one car can just go by at a time. And and I can see that it's not fully her fault. I can see the driver being at fault too, because if he saw us, like, he should have slowed down or even stopped so he could have enough road to keep going or something. I feel compassion for her because she felt really bad after that happened. And I'm sure she blamed herself like a million times. And I feel bad for her. Like, I see her crying. Yeah, and it's almost like the guilt is not pointing out at her anymore. I could see that there could be other things that we could have done better, just like going a little bit more towards the sidewalk, but not specifically her, but all of us. So I can see more of the picture. Like, before, I could only see her, the dog, and the car,
Hmm.
but now I can see like all of us just walking in that small road.
And what do you see when you look at yourself? Like before, you were saying you were kind of beating yourself up when you thought she should pay attention and she didn't, and you were not able to make her or didn't know how to talk to her to make her understand. Who would you be towards yourself if you weren't thinking she should or she should have paid attention?
I kind of like forgive myself for what happened too. In a way, I was like putting a lot of blame on myself because of that. Because I think I could have done more about it. Like I could have grabbed the dog. I could have just like stopped the car, like by, I don't know, crossing the road and stay in front of it or something. But I kind of like forgive myself for letting her know that she needed to pay attention, and for and just accepting the accident, not putting it on myself either. Like it wasn't my fault either. So
Mhm.
without the thought, I can see that.
Okay. So, how would you turn this thought around? She should pay attention.
She shouldn't pay attention.
So how could that be as true or truer?
An obvious one just popped up like a huge obvious thing that I didn't see.
Okay, what is it?
And is that she's a 13-year-old. So so it's pretty obvious that I should be the one paying attention, not her. So she shouldn't pay attention. She's not there yet.
Yeah.
She's
It's normal, right, for a 13-year-old to not pay attention to her father.
right. It's very normal.
And how else is it like understandable that she wouldn't pay attention to you?
Well, she was with the dog, so she was paying attention to the dog.
Right. So you told her
So
to watch it.
and that's what she did. She Wow. She paid so much attention to the dog that she didn't even see the car coming.
Right.
Oh my god. Right. She did exactly what I told her to do.
Wow.
Wow.
So she shouldn't pay attention because she already was paying attention.
Right.
So how did the accident happen?
It was She was pulling up the dog, and I think the car just like went too close by us, and then he just happened to step on our dog's foot for a little bit. Didn't break it or anything. It wasn't. We took it to the vet and it was fine. It just like scratched her leg a little bit, and it was bleeding a little bit, but nothing really bad happened. So
So she shouldn't pay attention because she was already paying attention. She did pay attention. Um, and then somehow, because of the car and the dog, they got close together and accident happened.
Hmm.
Was it her fault? Was it your fault?
No. Like looking at it that way, I don't even see the driver's fault either. It's just like a very small road, and it's really hard to see because it's like a very small dog anyway.
Hmm.
So it's like I don't see that as a possibility of seeing it and just doing it on purpose either. So
Yeah.
hmm.
So is there another turnaround? She should pay attention.
I should pay attention.
Okay. What could that mean for you in this situation?
Well, I know better. Like I know the road was like super small. I know cars go by all the time. So I could have just made him wait until there was no cars coming, or I could have just let them know to go further down the small sidewalk, or just stop, or even just carry the dog for that small portion of the road.
Hmm.
Hmm. So yeah, I should have paid more attention because I know what could happen. They
That's the
don't.
difference. They don't,
Hmm.
right? You have experience, plus you have the fully developed brain to be able to see all of the possibilities. And yeah, so I mean, it's good training your daughter, right? Then pay attention, but there's some things where it's beyond her ability at that moment to know. She can't imagine. It's not thinking about it, but you could, right? So I should pay attention.
Right. And also because of responsibility I'm putting on her to deal with it without having that knowledge. Like I could be
Exactly.
paying more attention towards that because she's learning.
Right. It's like giving someone responsibility without training. That's tough. It's like saying, okay, go ahead and drive the car, but if you don't know how, and then something happens, they don't know how. But so
Right.
I should pay attention. I'm not. It's like they're starting to gain responsibility, but I still have a lot of responsibility. A little bit of both.
Right. And sometimes you feel like, oh, she's big enough, so you put a lot of responsibility
Right.
because you think, oh, it's ready to go.
Right. But it's not yet.
It's not, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I should pay attention to where she is, how much she knows, and how important is this? Is this a good situation for training, or is this a dangerous situation where I have to be
Hmm.
more like take over or something like that?
Right.
There could be another version of this turnaround too. I should pay attention to myself. And I don't know if that has any meaning for you in this situation, um, that is anything new.
Hmm. Yeah, it does actually. In the way that I need to be paying more attention to myself to know how to give her a little bit of responsibility without putting everything on her. So that makes sense because I'm not paying attention to myself in that area, just like dropping everything off on her and just not checking with myself again. It's like, okay, is that too much? Is that enough?
Mm-hmm.
Is
Mm-hmm.
mm,
Yeah. But like the role of a good teacher, that they're gauging, is the student ready for the next step, or am I
yeah.
giving them too much, or are they getting bored? And like they're checking with, the teacher has to be checking with themselves as well as with the other, with the student, to see what is
Mm.
appropriate. Yeah.
And I need to check more with myself to be a better leader with her instead of just leaving her on her own to kind of like figure it out with the dog and like the cars and all that stuff.
Right.
Hmm.
Not that that's a bad thing, like leaving someone on their own to figure things out can be good in some contexts, but some other contexts it can be dangerous too. So like it's
Right.
a fine line. Yeah.
Like double checking with myself, that could be a good thing too. Like, see, oh, is it would be that good for her or actually dangerous for her or something like that in that situation. Hmm.
Cool. Well, thank you, Edwin.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very interesting. I should pay attention. She shouldn't pay attention. Even though doesn't mean she shouldn't. She can. Good. But sometimes I'm asking more than she can. And so she shouldn't from that point of view. Cool. All right. So, um, any questions or anything you want to share from that?
I had a question like in regards to all thoughts, and that is there are like certain feelings about a thought or a recurrent thought that you may have, but you don't recall the specific situation. So how do you work those effectively, without being able to be present like many times you can with like any other thoughts that you can put yourself in that position? Like how do you work those?
It's a good question. Yeah. I mean, first look and see if there is a situation. If you have a thought, a recurring thought, see if a situation comes to mind. Sometimes it'll just come up when you're ready to do the work. But if it doesn't, you can almost uh, find a situation, like any situation that's similar like that. You can even create a situation if you need to, that is just a imaginary situation, and as long as it has the elements there that match what the stressful recurring thought is, and then use that situation. But there's a feeling that comes with a stressful thought. So if there's a feeling there, it's a kind of stressful feeling, and it's kind of a context, but it's more abstract, then just look for a situation that is similar, that is concrete, and just put them together. You can do the work on it in any situation in a way. Um, and worst case scenario, if you can't find anything that fits, or it feels forced, or if there's something strange about that, then you can work the thought more generally without any stressful thought, or any without any stressful situation at all. And then as you're doing the work, you may start to see situations coming up in your mind, and then it may become clearer for you. Or maybe you will be touching on 3 or 4 situations as you're doing that work, and that will work as well. Basically, there's a communication between the abstract and the concrete, like the generalized theory and then specific examples of it, specific situations. And when you have both, it's easy to do the work because you're looking at your theory, you're looking at the reality, and you're kind of going back and forth. When it's just abstract, it's harder because you just have this generalized idea. You don't know what you're talking about as clearly. But as you're playing with it, specifics will often come in, and there's your reference point, and you can then do the same work referring to those different points. So these are just some ideas. You kind of have to play with it and see what works for you, and every situation is going to be different, but those are some of the ways I would approach it.
Great, thank you.